Presentation 2, we're not going to introduce ourselves again because you already watched the first one. Okay.
Okay. So this one is based for Justice for Whom, and we have the race, gender, the class, and then like the inequality of in the criminal justice system. So you have human beings are naturally shaped by the desire for fairness and justice and equality, because like socioites depend on the belief that people should be treated with like dignity, and they should be judged by their actions rather than by the characteristics that they hold.
I agree.
Or ones that they can't control.
Yeah.
A really huge example is how the American criminal justice system, it's built on the promise of all of this, the whole equal rights, fairness, everyone getting along, and in theory, it shouldn't, that sort of thing shouldn't determine how they are treated, just even like the basic mannerisms that people receive.
Sometimes it does end up being like that, though.
But yeah, like it does. It's not experienced equally by all people. It's written in like a more neutral tone, but the outcomes always will like reveal like the deep parts of inequality that our society has. So like race, gender, social, economic status, those all influence who is stopped, who's searched, who's believed, who can be charged like with just like harshness, whether it's physical, like the guy who was like locked in the locker. That was really gross. I didn't like that part.
I really hated that.
And like who can afford to be released before trial. I have a slight suspicion that a lot of the time the people who get the bail, well, like today during all the presentations, the group that did the one with Keith and
that's
then
me.
ours,
that's us.
Yeah.
And then the one before, everyone had a different bail number, and I don't know if it was just
they had
us.
5,000.
We didn't even give a bail number.
We didn't even give
just
a bail.
said we couldn't pay it.
You just couldn't pay it.
There's actually like I've watched so many case videos where it's like so many young people of color and like people from like lower class poverty lines cannot afford to pay bail, and then they're stuck in jail until their case is called, and that could take up to years if it's cases that aren't that important.
Piling up
so then they literally just sit there and like get their butt beat every single day because they have no other choice, and it's like sucks.
And there's no way to help, or there is a way to help them, just people don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like in other words, the theory is justice for whom. So we have race.
All right, so race is one of probably the most visible and heavily studied factors in the criminal justice inequality. Racial disparities appear throughout the justice process, from police contact to sentencing to incarceration. Black Americans and other communities of colors are more likely to experience police stops, searches, arrests, and harsher sentencing outcomes than white Americans in similar circumstances. And I'm actually going to give you a personal example of discrimination against race, because
there's a lot of like
I've experienced it quite a lot personally. So in middle school, quite a long time ago. Not even that, like this was not even a school thing. Me and like 2-3 of my other friends went to Wishes, like the store in the mall that sells like kids. Yeah, like the toy store. Craziness. We were middle schoolers. We just like to go to the mall. Like that was like our thing. That was the thing. That was a thing back then when malls were still like cool. I'm saying that as if middle school wasn't like 4 years ago. I'm like not that old. I'm like not that old. Anyways, so I went in there. It was me, and I'm Asian. If you couldn't tell. No and then my other friend was Asian. My other friend was Hispanic, and then the last one was white. So that's the 4 of us. And we went in, and we were middle schoolers. None of us were interested in law, crime, or whatever. Like, I don't know what due process is. Like, you told me that, I was all like, what? So we went to Wishes, and we walked around for a little bit, and we were just, like, looking at stuff. And we obviously came from school, so we had, like, our backpacks with us. 3 of us got stopped by the lady working at Wishes at the front desk. This white lady working at Wishes at the front desk. And she was like, I'm gonna need to see your guys' bags. And I was like, why? She's like, because I think...
to make sure you guys did your homework.
She was like, I need to make sure you guys didn't steal. You guys have been walking around the store. You guys have been picking stuff up, putting stuff back. Like, you guys look suspicious. I didn't need to search your bags. And us being, like, naive little 8th graders who didn't know anything about the law, we were like, okay! So this little white lady was searching 3 of our bags in front of the entire Wishes store. Jeez. And she didn't even call security or anything. She was just searching our bags. It was me,
call security.
It was me, the other Asian girl, and then the other Hispanic girl. The white girl had a backpack too. She didn't search her bag. She searched the 3 of our bags.
Yeah.
And we never reported it or said anything because, like, you know.
You guys didn't know. We didn't know a lot about, like,
Yeah.
what I mean, a lot of middle schools
Yeah.
probably do now, but, like, what middle school knows about, like...
Yeah, they weren't teaching
rights.
us that there. They were teaching us, like, algebra. Like,
Yeah.
I was not learning how to deal with racial discrimination in the
feel
criminal
like
justice system.
That is, like, a lot, like, discrimination. Like, I've, like, had, like, multiple stores that I've walked into, and I'm just holding my,
Do
like,
they
clothes.
get, like, cold to you guys?
They'll just be like, oh, like, do you want me to just take them for you and just put them at a side? Like, no, I don't need you to.
Like,
I'm
no,
not
bro.
going to steal.
Like,
But
no,
it's just,
I don't want to be.
It's too normalized, and I feel like, especially in the justice system, it's like overlooked.
Yeah, it's also, like, I don't need people following me around a store. Like, I'm
It's
not.
like they're passive-aggressive about it, too.
Yeah.
Like, they don't openly say it. They're just like...
They're just like, are you sure you don't need any help?
Either
sweetheart?"
they're
Like,
very
no.
direct with it or, like,
no.
indirect.
Like, I don't need any help, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to the original PowerPoint topic out of our personal experiences. But that just adds to the presentation, in my
That just
opinion.
adds how real this is.
Yeah, we are teenagers.
An
and
8th grader... Three 8th graders experienced it.
Yeah, like, even before that, like, there were obviously, like, little microaggressions. But, like, that was when I full stop realized. I was like, wow.
Wait, so the white girl that you were with didn't get stopped at all?
No. Like, we
She's
were
so
in a
messed
group.
up.
She just
Did
didn't
she
get...
have a backpack, too?
Yeah. She searched the 3 of us and was like, you know, it's fine. I know you guys didn't steal, and then let us go.
So
And I was like, you needed to look at 3 different bags to identify that?
yeah,
Mind you, the white girl did steal. She did steal from the store. We didn't. She did.
Well, she did?
Yes.
Oh, God.
So the one person she didn't search was the one person that shoplifted. So I don't know what
See,
she's
that's like
thinking.
a-
That's like
You
karma.
should never
That's like karma on
discriminate
her
on
part. Anyways,
That's
okay.
horrible.
Yeah. So these
Racist.
disparities are often described through the concept of like disadvantage. Like these people have a disadvantage obviously because they are people of color and that is so identifiable. Like you can't tell a lot of things from a person, but you can tell their race, and that leads to a road of discrimination that is so identifiable. Do we want to give our example case that we did? Because I feel like we just gave a really good
you gave
example.
a real life one. I don't
Yeah.
think that George Floyd again. We
But
already
I can
covered.
talk
A person
more about
is
that.
stopped more often because they
race.
are.
And it's very
in their race.
unfortunate. But I'm gonna dive more into George Floyd's case. So, obviously Chauvin, like the police officer, he was later convicted, and he became like a very important and big example of how, like about police accountability. But the meaning of George Floyd's death went far beyond one officer, because one arrest or one police department, for many people, it represented like a larger pattern of like racialized police violences, fear, and distrust. People do think, and people like I mean, I'm not gonna say like it's like true, but like people tend to think that because of your race is the way like how a police officer is gonna like deal with you, because everyone thinks that every police officer is racist.
Yeah, like
I'm not
everybody
saying that all
inherent-
police officers are good, but like everyone just there's like a very stereotypical like view on police officers and just law
Yeah,
enforcement.
like everybody has inherently a bias. Like nobody.
Yeah, everyone's
everyone has
opinion
their
is
opinion,
biased
yeah.
in some way.
Nobody is unbiased, and that's just it. And I think a lot of it ties back to like a lot of people not understanding the idea of like some people have the idea of human nature a lot,
Mhm.
and like
human nature.
yeah, I took a political theory class last quarter. I'm really educated on that. A lot of people think that some people are just born good, some people are just born bad, and I was like, that's not
So
true.
that's not true.
Like,
Like
the Stanford experiment went over that. Which
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's fair then to say, this is kind of a rabbit hole, but that evilness is a part of human nature,
Yeah,
and
I
anyone
do.
can, some people are more nice than other people.
it's what's surrounding them. It's like what
It's like
what
you
is-
are who you
environment,
surround
what is-
yourself with, you know.
what is that
Everything
build up?
influences you in some
Exactly.
way.
Which
Yeah.
we'll get into later when we
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
class.
Anyways,
I have
so
a personal
talking
example
about,
for that too, actually.
You want to
Yeah.
speak about it? Or?
Yeah, I have a personal example for that too.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk about the kind of like the evidence that the video was recorded by bystanders, and it became very public, and people like in the moment kind of ignored like the concerns and everything. And this kind of forced the public to confront the reality that a routine of a police encounter can become deadly, especially for Black Americans who have long experience over police and unequal treatment. I remember seeing this video after George Floyd's death, and this was, the video of his thing? Yeah, it's all over the internet.
Yeah,
but
like,
I'm
fresh out
talking
of middle
about
school,
like
I haven't seen that.
Sixth
when
grader.
this happened, it was obviously during the time when the Black Lives Matter movement was a big thing. I remember this girl coming up to this police officer, and she was like, "Oh, you're not gonna hurt me, right?" And mind you, she was Black, and I could see like the police officer's face, like he, like, this is what I mean, like, not all, well, I don't know how the police officer is, or if he was like just being fake, but he really cared. He's like, "No, I'm not gonna hurt you." And this just kind of, this, like, I feel like Floyd's death kind of like really scared a lot of young Black Americans too, and just Black Americans in general, because like it just seems like the police have so much more power, and it's like they don't want to do anything, you know. And I'm gonna talk about these like racial disparities. They continued after the arrest and into the court and prison systems. These Black Americans are incarcerated at much higher rates than white Americans, and this cannot be explained by crime rates alone. Police practices, prosecutorial decisions, sentencing laws, poverty, neighborhood surveillance, and access to legal representation all play a role.
I mean, I think it's also the fact that they literally will target areas that are poverty areas, and most people living in poverty areas are people of color, and that's who they're gonna end up arresting.
Exactly.
Which that also goes in with the socioeconomic part, because a lot of the colored people tend to be in lower income, poorer communities.
It's like
whether it's by choice or not. So now we have gender. So this one was very, very complicated. Gender is very important to shaping the outcomes that people get when they get incarcerated or they go through trial. And it does have something to do with race or class. So I noticed a lot of Black females can get off. So if you have white and Black, the white families or the white people will usually get off easier. And then when you have the Black people, they don't. But then the Black females will still get off easier than the Black males, and same with females of all races. And that's not all the time, but like it tends to be one. So there is about 4.172 billion males, so it's about like 50%. It's about half, it's like slightly over half. And then the females, there's only 4.100 and I think about 30 billion females. So that's less than half. I don't know what the last half, or that last like 1% was. I couldn't find that, but so it really it's more of a male-oriented environment because there are more males, and that's, I guess I would say that's kind of a fact. I don't know how to word that nicely. And so when you look at the gender in the criminal justice system, it's really important to compare the population percentages with the was it criminology? We talked about like the different types of inmates and like what they can all be. How like 96% tend to be male, and then like that whole thing. And so there's a lot.
I mean, it's like I feel like society also doesn't view women as criminals. Like,
because they don't think that they would.
It's like, do you remember when?
Like that?
I don't know if you were here when we gave that presentation about this lady who killed her boyfriend or husband or something, and the entire public media, the entire media was like, she couldn't have done it. She's too pretty. She's too smart.
I know they always go for looks.
Yes.
Oh, is that the girl that you had?
They just don't
like. Yeah, I know.
They just don't think that women have enough power to do anything because
they're scared.
Society has like lessened women a lot. Like they just like think that.
I don't think it's in their nature. It's like nature versus nurture.
Maddox mentioned at one point it was when we did the solitary confinement, he mentioned the 8th Amendment, and he did the different types of punishments. And in one of them, he said, like, the waterboarding one, he had, like, the specific name for it. That one was, like, designated for females only because it was, like, more ladylike, and he said it that way, too. And then there's also the part, Abraham Lincoln, when he was assassinated, there was a female part of the group, too. and she was like the first female to get like executed and also like fully imprisoned.
It's insane.
And they were like, you know, oh my goodness, like
They're like, I can't believe a woman would do that, because it's like nature versus nurture. They don't think it's in women's natures.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that more women should be criminals. I'm just saying we shouldn't doubt that a woman could be a criminal. Can we just like highlight which part you want to be said the most? Cause
so women of color, which is especially the Black, Latina, and then the Indigenous women, they deal with like a lot of racism. They have so much poverty and like unfair ideas that follow them, are targeted to them, and then that means that their actions and emotions get judged differently. So.
Yeah, so I mean, like, obviously we were talking about like just women in general, but like for white women, like they can just probably be seen as like their anger can be seen as like stress or fear. So it's like
kind of like Karens.
Yeah, literally. And then like for Black women, it may not be the case because obviously like race plays a big role in this, and there's a lot of gender inequality in the criminal justice system, which is very sad, but it just becomes more complicated when it overlaps like race and like in class. I'm not gonna say the example, but
we
kind of did all that basically.
We technically only needed one example for the entire.
Yeah, we had a lot of good information.
You want to try the modern reforms?
Yeah, so modern reforms try to address these problems, but their success has been uneven. And this training can help people recognize unfair assumptions, but training alone is not enough without stronger polices. Whoa. Which one?
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I put a lot down.
No, it's okay. Which one? The gender-responsive programs?
Yeah.
Okay. The gender-responsive programs are also important because many women enter the system with histories of trauma, abuse, poverty, and caregiving responsibilities, and programs that address parenting, mental health, substance use, and trauma recovery may be more effective than a punishment alone. And sentencing reform is another important part of change because reducing mandatory minimums, correcting drug sentencing disparities, expanding judicial discretion, and improving public defense can all help reduce unequal outcomes.
No, we put a lot into that, so it was really hard.
It was like there was a lot to say. Okay, I love this one. Oh my god.
I know, this was my favorite part.
This one's definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
So the next one we did is social economic status, and I will have a personal example for this one as well because I just love giving my personal examples on things and
everything.
everything.
Do you want to do that, your example, over whatever one?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. So poverty and housing instability, poor schools, untreated mental illnesses, addiction, lack of employment, exposure to violence, and limited mental health care are all conditions that exist long before a person ever enters into the criminal justice system. And while these issues do not excuse crimes, they do explain why some communities experience more contact with police, courts, prisons, and than others. And when people grow up in neighborhoods with fewer resources, fewer opportunities, and more daily stress, the justice system often becomes their first major institution. Oh, whoa. Okay, I'm not going to go into like that much detail, but I'll give my personal example first. So, in Whatcom County, in the Bellingham School District, we have 3 main middle schools. It's Fairhaven, Whatcom Middle School, 4, sorry. Fairhaven, Whatcom, Colshan, and Shuckson Middle School. And Shuckson Middle School is located in a way that 80% of the students that go there are on Bellingham's poverty line.
Yeah.
So majority of the Shuckson Middle School students are students on the poverty line or like slightly above it, like the tiniest bit. The other 20% are in the suburbs. I fall into the 20% that live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
So this is not like that personal of an experience, but there is this little situation that happens a lot when I was in middle school, where every time a middle schooler was caught doing drugs or something like that, their first tie would be, oh, are they from Shuckson Middle School? Like, not directly from cops, but, like, from everybody else. It's like, oh, what's... Because, like, it'll make news channels, or it'll be in, like, publications of some sort. And people will start asking around, like, oh, they're from Shuckson. And half the time, it's not a Shuckson student. Like, most of the time, it is never a Shocklin students. Colston, Fairhaven, and Wacom, Colston, and Fairhaven have all had bigger drug issues than Shocklin. Shocklin never had that big of a drug issue. But the reason that everybody assumes that it's Shocklin is because of the idea of classism. Like, everybody, even through middle schoolers, the classism there is still there. Because these middle schoolers are all on the poverty line. They're all considered ghetto to, like, the rest of the middle schools.
Because where the, Shocklin even lays, it's in like a lot of apartments.
Yeah, the entire like apartment complex, like every duplex by the like Shocklin Middle School is like the entire property line. It's terrible. So they consider Shocklin the ghetto school, and all the other middle schools, like the students, refer to our school as like the drug school, despite there being like a lack of drug users at our school.
What's funny is that the actual drug school is options.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a high school program, so that like, doesn't count. But like, if everything, like, the other middle school had bigger drug issues than we did during our time, so that's just like, that's what that was.
They just associated it because most of them were not in the same.
And like, social economic class also brings us back to like, police do target low income areas. They target areas that they consider ghetto, or they consider like is poverty, so they will target those areas, and most people live there.
Do you think this is having to do with like statistics, like they've seen more like crime in this area, so obviously they're gonna target it? Maybe
the back to that percentage thing that McHenry showed us, it the 96% are male, and it went over, and so you have the race, because this, I don't remember the exact number, but a lot of the races are in the poverty line.
Yeah.
And so if
a lot of the like single mothers in the poverty line too.
And then that's where the substance use is, and then it said poverty. Most of them come from poverty.
So it kind of just finds its way.
Mm-hmm. It's like single moms. It's people who are low income. It's people who have past convictions, who have housing issues, will live in low poverty area.
Because it's hard to find a nice
like,
spot. If
it's like that's how it usually goes, and I think that's what. No, go back up. Yeah. Nope. Back down.
So you think you covered your part?
Yeah, I think that's good enough. Okay. Unless you have something to add.
No, I was just, there's always like the police officer's view, which, like, I think you really covered it when you said that they're looking for where the crime starts, and that's where the crime starts. Yeah. Then they're gonna go there, and with that they start targeting, whether it's intentional or not intentional. They're gonna start targeting because that's what they're.
That's where the money is.
That's where the money is. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to stop these problems from happening. Exactly. And so like there's also if you'd think that like the people who are in these areas where there's like lots of cops around and everything, you'd think that they would like kind of change just a little bit, but they don't always, because it's like it's a part of their life.
It's like kind of a way of living sometimes. Like people have to do certain things to survive,
And
so it's like they have no help. They know that they're all gonna get arrested at some point. They know
that the one with the one with the baby that died. Is that guy, or was that
Jesse? Was the one that was locked up in the storage closet. Yeah. Okay. The second guy that was locked up in the storage closet. Okay. Yeah. Is that?
That's
more. That's all we have for that presentation. We went like 7 minutes over. So.
You're welcome.
I love how we say bye, guys. If it's
bye,
not
guys.
just McHenry's the one singular guy. Bye.